Hi, this is Warren from Bottoms Up and Nathan on the camera. We're here to show you how to clean a long draw bottoms up beer system. We're going to show you two separate methods, one that can utilize a clean 5-gallon bucket and one that utilizes the 4-head cleaning canister. Regardless of which method, you're going to need to start with one clean 5-gallon bucket. This bucket is going to be filled up with warm water and standard dish detergent. Give it a good squirt of dish detergent. This and a brush are going to be used to clean the outside of every keg coupler, making sure that there's no beer or buildup on the keg coupler itself. Now that the 5-gallon bucket is full of warm water and the dish soap, set the brush aside. This bucket can be set aside for when we go into the keg room. The next step when utilizing the 5-gallon bucket method is to add the appropriate amount of cleaning solution following the directions on the cleaning solution itself. In this case, I need 2 to 3 ounces per 5 gallons, per gallon. This is a 16-ounce cup. It's going to be a full pour on this. Gets transferred into the 5-gallon bucket. And then this 5-gallon bucket gets cleaned with, filled with warm water again. We finished filling the bucket. You can see I didn't fill it all the way to the top. That's just so we can transport it around and not spill it. It is not going to affect the line cleaning solution if you don't have exactly 5 gallons in it or if your ratio is not exactly as it says on the cleaning solution itself. With the cleaning canister, it's very similar to filling up the 5-gallon bucket with solution, other than the fact that a cleaning canister has a seal that can be opened so that you can fill it with liquid. So you open the seal, turn it to the side. Again, this is 5 gallons, so we're going to go just about 16 ounces of cleaning solution to get the 2 to 3 ounces per gallon. Pouring it slowly into the top. Proceeding to fill it again with warm water. Now that the cleaning canister is full of solution and water, the top of it needs to be sealed again by depressing this lever, sealing the top of the canister. You want to make sure that this bleed off here, which releases the pressure inside, is twisted so it is sitting down in the closed position. Now we're ready to take this into the keg room and start cleaning lines. On this system that we're doing the demonstration on, this is an 8-product system. So we have 4 of our 2-product panels. Line 1 is on the far left here. Line 8 is on the right over there. When we do line cleaning, we work 2 lines at a time, or technically a panel at a time. So on this panel there are 2 lines, line 1 and line 2. So the first step is to disconnect each keg coupler, placing it in the bucket that has the soapy water in it. Getting them fully submerged, and then using the brush to make sure that they're clean all around the bottom. You'll get buildup over time of the beer that is sitting in the top of a keg when you disconnect it. If you don't take the time to clean these, you will get buildup on them. You want to make sure to maintain the keg coupler as well as the rest of the system. So this one is scrubbed off. Do line number 2. Done with the bucket with soapy water. Place the 5-gallon bucket of cleaning solution to where you can access it easily, and then we're going to be placing the keg couplers down into the liquid. Something important to note when you're not using a cleaning canister, but when you're using a 5-gallon bucket or another receptacle, not to pull the handle down. If you pull the handle down on the keg coupler, you'll hear CO2 escaping. It is not necessary to do that when using the 5-gallon bucket method for cleaning. Once you scrub the keg couplers off, you're going to place both of them with the handles in the up position into the cleaning solution and open the purge valves on each of the lines, allowing the cleaning solution to go up through the bleed-offs, maintaining their cleanliness and functionality, waiting for enough beer to be evacuated so that you can see the cleaning solution in each of the lines that we're cleaning. Once you see cleaning solution in each empty keg detector, close the shutoffs and move to the front end dispenser to continue the process. If you're going to be using a cleaning canister instead of a 5-gallon bucket to clean the beer lines, after scrubbing the keg couplers with the soapy water, instead of bringing a 5-gallon bucket with cleaning solution in, you will have a cleaning canister. When using a cleaning canister, it is important to note that you have to tap it just like you would a keg. So, connecting the keg coupler, in this instance, you need to push the handle down so that it pressurizes the system. You can see that there was some air coming out before the seal was able to become active. We tap both lines on the cleaning canister, engaging both of them. Start the bleed off procedure just as if you were doing it with the bucket. You can see that cleaning solution from the previous method is already in the empty keg detectors, but now you're noticing that the cleaning solution from inside the canister is now filling up the empty keg detectors. So just as a note, when you're using a canister, you have to tap it just like you would a keg. When you're using the 5-gallon bucket, do not tap it down. You just submerge the keg couplers fully in the cleaning solution. Both methods require you then to open up the bleed offs on each valve, filling the empty keg detectors with solution. The next step is at the dispensers. At the front end, once the cleaning canister or the 5-gallon bucket method is being used on the back, we remove the drip tray. We move on to priming the cleaning solution into the line. We have two versions of keypad that we use. The old version, you will hit the prime button, which is in the bottom left-hand corner. The manual start and the prime button will illuminate, as well as 4 red lights around the start-stop button. After that, the slider is placed into the down position on the cup coupler. 4 green lights will illuminate. Have a cup to shield the nozzle so that when you open the valve to start the process of cleaning, the beer that's in the line right now does not spray all over the place. You will see that quickly the beer in the line on a system will turn from beer into cleaning solution if the line is not super long. If it is a longer run, it'll take more time. Now you can see that we've gone from beer to cleaning solution. At this point, once you let it run for 20 seconds or so, you hit the stop button, moving on to the next line, leaving the cleaning solution to rest in the line while you're working on the one next to it. The next line on this system has the new version of our touchpad. The new version has some updates to make it more simple to understand. Instead of being auto start mode, as in the old version, we now have pour mode. Instead of being manual start, we have program size. And instead of being prime, we have purge now. We find that this is a better explanation of what the buttons do as opposed to the older method. On the new circuit board, we're going to press the purge button, slide the slider down, cover the nozzle, press the start stop button, and follow the same method of waiting for all of the beer in the line to be purged out. Once the solution is coming out of the nozzle, letting it run for 10 to 15 seconds. Once that has been accomplished, hit the start stop button. And then you'll want to move on to the rest of the valves so that by the time you get to the last set, the cleaning solution has sat in the previous lines for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long it takes you to get to the end. At that point, we rinse the lines with water, which we'll move to next. Now that we have cleaning solution in all 8 lines in this case, we leave the cleaning solution sitting in the lines while we rinse either our bucket or our cleaning canister of the cleaning solution that we use. So dump out whatever solution is left. Use warm water to rinse the bucket. Once the bucket is rinsed, fill it all the way up again with warm water that we're going to use to rinse all the cleaning solution out of the lines before we put beer back in the line. While this bucket is filling up, I am going to empty the cleaning canister. Special note, this canister is now pressurized because we had to tap the keg couplers to it to get the cleaning solution out of it. That's when this ring comes into use. So you'll pull the ring up allowing all of the pressure that's inside the canister to release. Now that all the pressure has released, the top can be opened, can be removed, emptied, and rinsed. A cleaning canister is harder to rinse out since there's tubes and connectors that go all the way down, so I give it a good shake, rinse it out. Another shake. And then fill the cleaning canister with clean, warm water. We have the bucket on the ground that's been rinsed and cleaned. We'll fill this up. Once it is full, we'll replace the seal in the top. Which can be a little bit tricky, but there's a method to get it to just fit in there. Making sure to reseat it, sliding the lever down, and making sure that the bleed off is in the closed position again. Now that we have a 5-gallon bucket of clean, warm rinsing water, we also have a cleaning canister with clean, warm rinsing water. You may think that the bucket is a shortcut or not the preferred method for cleaning. A cleaning canister does look, super space age. What we find is that the bucket is the preferred method for us. You don't have to buy a specialty piece of equipment. It could be a bucket you have around that you use for other things. Just got to make sure it's clean. The bucket allows you to do multiple line cleanings at once and does not limit you to the number of connectors that is on your tank. It also does not get pressurized, so you don't have to remember to pull the bleed off on it. It's easier to fill up, and then you can store it, use it for other things. So in this case, I've got the first 4 lines. I can submerge them in water and purge the water into each individual line to get the little bit of cleaning solution that'll be sitting up here out of the system. So I'll do the first 4. While those are going, I have the 5th and 6th line, which we'll use the cleaning canister on. So we again have this clean, warm water in here. We engage the keg coupler, press down. You can hear it actually pressurizing the canister. That's why before, when we opened it, we had to do the bleed off. So I am connecting 2 of them. We've got water in the lines of the first 4 because those have just been submerged in the bucket. I'll close those off. And then do line 5 and line 6, which are off of the cleaning canister. Once you have water in all of the lines, you will go up front and we will follow the same method that we use to purge the line of beer to purge the line of cleaning solution. Now that we have the water in the bucket and water in the cleaning canister in the back, we're going to follow the same method, pressing the prime button on the old version of the circuit board or the purge button on the new version of the circuit board. Sliding the slider down, covering up the nozzle, pressing the bottoms up button here. On the new version, it's labeled start and stop right there in the center. You will let it flow until you see the cleaning solution switch to water. Once it changes to water, it'll be very apparent when it does. You can see now that it's milky. Some cleaning solutions have a colorful solution, either pink or blue. You can see that line number 1 has gone to water, so we're going to let it run for a little bit longer. Line number 2 is now water as well. We let those run for the 10 to 15 seconds apiece. Once they've reached that, press the stop button on both of them and continue on with the rest of the lines. One thing to pay attention to while you're purging the lines out is you can open multiple lines at a time, but this is a lot of flow for the drain that's attached to be able to do. So as you can see, the pan is filling up, so I have to stop and make sure that I don't overflow the drain pan and get all over the counter. This is one of the reasons why we say just do 1 line at a time, because it allows the drain to keep up and you're allowing the solution to sit in each line an equal amount, because you started with number 1, you went through to number 8. Then when you start purging, number 8 still has cleaning solution in it until the end when you do the last purge, allowing them all to have equal soak time. The final step to cleaning the system after the lines are cleaned is to do an inspection on the dispenser itself. The cup coupler, as we call it, or nozzle is what people like to call it, removes and is supposed to be cleaned every night by the bar staff. It is important as the line cleaner to inspect these, and then using the soapy water that you use for the keg coupler, give these a little bit of a scrub. So you just dunk them in the soapy water. You're going to want to clean the top of them. Give them a little scrub underneath, getting on the inside, and then making sure to actuate it down and get the tip of the nozzle. Give it another little dunk, and before you put it back on, you want to inspect what it threads to. This is the top of the valve, and sometimes people neglect to clean around it, so you take just your little fingernail brush that we have, give it a little scrub around it. Make sure to get in the corners in the back of the dispenser real quick. Repeat the process with all of the couplers for all of the lines, and then replace them back on the dispenser, lining the threads up. A note is that they only have to be finger tight. A lot of people like to over tighten them, and then when they chill back down it or get beer on them, it makes it really difficult to remove. So final step, remove all the nozzles, give everything a good scrub, make sure everything's clean. Then you go hook back up the beer and prime beer back in, which we'll show you next. In the process of removing the nozzles and cleaning them, it's important to check on the inside. A lot of times people fail to clean in here. A faucet brush or even a little toothbrush you can spin around in there helps clean those. But in the process of going through those, this is an example of what you'll see if the valves have not been cleaned appropriately. So we just take our little scrub brush, go across the top here, getting around the sides, making sure to clean them all up nice and good so that there's no buildup and that they remain clean. If you do this often, it only takes a couple of seconds to clean. If you wait forever, it can get pretty scuzzy, because this is routine maintenance to be done on the dispensers. So we finished rinsing the lines with clean water, as well as cleaning the dispensers, the nozzles, and the cup couplers, making sure everything's clean up there. The last step is to reconnect the kegs in order. We take the time to detangle all of the lines that get tangled over time, so we've got everything separated out again. We've got keg number 1 on the bottom here, so we're going to tap keg number 1. We're going to tap keg number 2 here. And then we'll prime them one at a time. It seems to go a little bit faster to get beer back in them. You only need to get beer in the top here, so you'll see that it's starting to turn to beer. We just want to make sure that there's no bubbles, and this looks pretty good. We can see that the beer has started to enter the empty keg detector, and there's no air pockets. So we're going to do the same for line number 2 here, purging all of the water that's in the line from the keg up to the empty keg detector. You can see that we've got a couple bubbles, and now we've got the beer coming in. So now we're going to shut the bleed off. You need to make sure that you shut these bleed offs. If you leave them open, it'll pour a whole keg all the way down the drain. So now we're going to go up and prime the beer back into the beer lines. We have line 1 and line 2 connected in the back. To accomplish priming beer back into the line, you press the prime button on the old circuit board or the purge button on the new version. Slide the sliders down, press the start buttons, and you will see the water start rushing out of the system. Once all the water's pushed out, you'll start to see a little bit of foaming when it turns to beer. And then we just need to prime it until the beer goes clear. So there's our foam. We've got our shield so it doesn't make a mess. Now you can see it's starting to settle down. Now that we've got clear beer and everything's looking good on the dispenser, hit the stop button, slide the slider up. You can go directly back into auto mode, and there's no need to reprogram the size. I'd like to throw a shout out to 1UP in Broad Ripple, Indiana for allowing us to shoot this video. And now that we're back in auto mode, we should be pouring with clean lines and pour nice, refreshing, clean beer.